So welcome to day number 10 of the shed build, and we'll go through what we've done so far on day number 10 and from day number 10 basically. And we'll have a look inside and we'll see, you can see on the left hand side there we've put in a window, we've got two windows in, so we'll go in and have a look. And this is the outside of the window. This is one of the two windows we've put in. As I said, we've got identical matching windows. So we've put one here on the side of the what will be the sort of dependent living area, and then one on the back as well. So we'll go in and see what that looks like. So this is the window from the inside. This is one of the two windows we got from a demolition. Someone gave them to us. So there was this one and this one at the back here. They're identical. So the one at the back is about 170 wide, the sill, so it's quite a nice wide sill. The reason for that is because the purlins on this side of the shed on the back are 150, and then you've got the 70mm studs, and so there's quite a bit of a distance between the steel here and then the stud, so that's why we've got the sill here is quite large. What that means is that these pieces of wood, if you buy them new, essentially, it adds up quite a bit. I think the two windows, we got the windows for nothing, but then to build out the frames was probably about, $150, $200 or something, because just for the wood cost. So we've got the power coming in here and the conduit now. This is one thing we've had done since the last video, essentially, and that's just essentially for code purposes. The electrician's done that because you really want power that's in the shed to be in a conduit. If it's through the studs, it's a different matter, but we've got networking coming up there, and the networking will be wired to the shed. That's one thing I need to do before putting the walls on the shed. So I haven't framed the front because this is where the door's going. We're going to put a large sliding door if we can there. That's why I haven't framed it, because it's not worth framing until the door's in. Then I can frame around the doors. One thing I did with the windows is this was completely framed, and then we cut out the frame. Sorry about that. That needs to be in focus. There we go. So we cut out the frame for the window once we'd put the framing in, because I wanted to complete the framing, and that worked fine. So we have some insulation there to go in the walls of the shed part. So what we're in now, I'm standing in the dependent living side, and probably on the right hand side you can see the power board, and then a little bit further on that right will be a wall that comes out, and then it will sort of go in a square shape to make the dependent living. But this whole area will be dependent living side, so we'll gyprock this, and it will have insulation as well as the sisolation that's currently there. In the walls you can see that silver stuff. It's kind of like sisolation, but it is actually R2 insulation, so it does provide some insulation, although I'm going to be putting insulation as well, this earth wall stuff. And the reason for that silver stuff really is an air barrier, vapor barrier for the steel. So I'll be blocking up all the holes that you can see there, and it'll essentially prevent moisture from getting from the steel shed side. So when it's really cold in winter and you get condensation on the inside of the shed, it'll prevent that moisture from getting in to the shed part, and it will just kind of sit behind that insulation or that sisolation, and then it will evaporate. You can see, here you go, you can see this actually moves. There's actually wind going underneath this section here, so wind can get through and air can flow through, so it can dry out that section, but it's just that air can't get in, because where you have air movement, then that brings moisture. So we'll have a look at some of the power stuff I've been doing, or I've had done on the shed side. And then we'll see some other things that we've been working on. So this is some of the electrical work that has been done to get the 4-gang power points into the shed. These are what they'll look like, the 4-gang power points, and the back is just wired up to a single sort of connection there. So you can see it's just the neutral active earth, and then that gets wired to there. So we have another one up here for the roller door motor, which is another thing we had put in. Or in fact, I did this with my neighbour. He gave me a roller door motor which he had spare. He used to install these, and so he's taken this out of I think he said it was in some government building, and they couldn't use it, so they had to get rid of it. It was not big enough for their purposes. Basically, it's too small, but it's good for home use and stuff. So this did cause an issue. Basically, we had to move the bracket because the bracket was too close to that way, and so the roller door motor didn't fit. There wasn't enough of a gap there to put the roller door motor, so we had to cut the welds off this bracket, which my brother welded, and then reposition it basically and screw it back in. So you can see that it's right up to the edge of the section there. So the rest of these power points go down here, and you can see there's one power point here, another one up here. These will all be 4 gang power points, essentially 4 plugs, and then there'll be one to the left down here, and this will all be the shed section. So that plywood's going to go on these walls here, and then I'll just cut out for the power points, essentially. So yeah, so that's the work that we've been doing in the shed and the dependent living side of things. The next video I think I'll go through probably when we have the insulation in, and maybe the walls in the shed side, and we'll see what that looks like. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.